everyone, it's Andrea here from Admire PR, and today I'm joined by the brilliant Rachel from Watertight Business Thinking, who's joined me for one of our little coffee time chat little sessions that I do. Rachel, would you like to just introduce yourself for people who don't know you? Tell us a bit about Watertight Business Thinking.
Thank you very much, Andrea. I'm Rachel and I'm the Managing Director of Watertight Business Thinking. I'm a career marketer, so spent my early years in-house doing actual marketing, and set up my own business about 15 years ago. Started working with Bryony at Watertight about 8 years ago, and she invited me to join the business full-time as MD about a year ago now, just over a year ago.
Yeah.
So what we do really is essentially we have a set of strategic thinking tools that we introduce marketers to. So we help support marketers in their role to be more brilliant and to also help leaders understand sales and marketing more. So what we're all about is supporting developing marketing capability in businesses.
And so we've both been in kind of marketing about the same length of time, actually, like the sort of think about our backgrounds. And at the moment, there's a lot of new technology and new ways of doing things. And I read a few things this week about holding your nerve and going back to basics. And are you finding that you're seeing more people with sort of shiny ideas that aren't necessarily the right thing for them to do? Or what do you find when people come to you?
A lot of that's always been true, though. For the 30 odd years that I've been in marketing, there's always been that shiny new thing, that the new platform, the new thing that is the latest platform or thing or activity that you need to do. So that I think has always been true, and I think the marketing principles have remained the same.
Yeah.
Because it's all about customer psychology and how people work and how people buy and think, and as humans we haven't really changed much in a few millennia. So going back to basics and making sure, I think that's one of the things that appealed to me about Watertight marketing when I first came across it, is that we have tools that enables people to kind of have that lens of, is this marketing tool the right thing? Sure. Will it actually serve the purpose that I want it to serve? Will it engage with the audience that I want it to engage with?
Yeah.
So we see a lot of that, people saying, oh, should we do this and should we do that? And almost always we ask them to take a step back and say, that's okay, let's just think about what you actually want to achieve first.
Yeah, that is the key, stepping back. Running a business isn't always easy. Like we all start our businesses because we really love what we do, but not every day is easy. What do you do, Rachel, if you need to kind of just look after your resilience?
I have to say I'm not very good at that. I kind of go to extremes. I either work really hard or not at all. And so, it is hard, and it is hard to kind of keep up day to day that motivation. So I have to be quite careful and mindful about supporting myself, I guess, being kind to myself. So I think there are a couple of things that keep me going. One is remembering why we're doing this, because at the heart of why we do what we do is the impact that it has on marketers. It makes their life easier, it makes life less stressful, it helps to position them more strategically, it helps support their career ambitions. And I think other than that, on a more personal basis, I have to remember to go outside for a walk sometimes, otherwise I'm at danger of spending days in my office without actually venturing out. There's nothing I love more than going out on a sunny morning when it's kind of quite quiet. I haven't done very much over the winter, but I do like my cycle rides. So I often do that on a Sunday morning when it's quiet and I'm just on my own. I need headspace, and I more than anything, and often that's outside.
Yeah, I find the same actually, and I think we're both in creative jobs, and to be creative you need space, and that is generally I'm outside on my own when I find those moments, usually running through some muddy bog or other, knowing me, but
well, it's tempting to think I should work harder and then I can do more and be more productive, but actually there's a point at which that's utterly counterproductive.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just good to remind yourself, and sometimes you need someone else, don't you, to say, have you taken that walk break?
I know.
Yeah,
it's absolutely.
I have my project manager she's like, Andrea, today I've noticed your calendar is a little full. When are you going to take a break? It's like, well, so it's quite nice to have someone who does that to me.
Oh, it is, isn't it? And I think we're often not very kind to ourselves. And I think the other thing I found is it's one rule for other people and another rule for ourselves. So I think we're much harsher on ourselves. Drive ourselves much harder than we might ever do with other people.
That's very true. It is. My next question is about books or things you've listened to or watched. Is there anything that you found particularly useful or inspiring?
It's a really good question. So I'm an English literature graduate, so my tendency is more to read novels or watch films. So I shouldn't admit this really, should I? But I tend not to, business books are not my go-to thing. But I will say one thing. It was actually probably 2 or 3 years ago, just at the start of the pandemic and the lockdown. I listened to a podcast by a woman called Rebecca Henderson, who's a professor at Harvard Business School. And she was launching a new book then called Reimagining Capitalism, in a world on fire. So she was basically saying capitalism isn't working and we're really harming our environment, and businesses really need to rethink how they do business. And that for me really resonated, because I've always thought, I remember having an argument 30 years ago with an FD about, she was saying, no, we're in here to make profit. And I said, that's not the end objective. Profit for me is an end result of doing something well. And what is that thing that you want to do well and succeed at? And so this book and this whole idea of kind of reimagining economics really and business really resonated with me, and I found that quite inspiring. And it made me explore other things like there's Kate Howarth's Donut Economics, and there are lots of other businesses and organizations around who want to change the way we do business. So there's the B Corp movement, there's organizations like Marketing Kind. There are other kind of people who actually want marketing to be marketing and business to be a force for good and do good things. And I think one of the reasons why it resonated with me so much and had quite a big impact was I kind of thought, there's hope there, isn't there, about how we do business and the kind of future for our world and businesses part in that, really. So I think that probably in the last couple of years, that's the thing, and that's the idea, the thinking that's had most impact on me.
Fascinating. Thanks, Rachel. It's it's timely from the way that we've seen a lot of businesses are taking a look at what running a good business means to them.
And I think it really taps into a zeitgeist, in that I think most people now want to work for companies that have a purpose beyond making money. And I think that will increase more and more and more, which gives me real hope, actually. I think.
Me too. That's great. What advice would you give for a young person who is looking at what career they want to get into, and they might think about marketing.
Yeah. I think marketing is a brilliant career to go in. I think there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
So whether you're a creative, or you're data driven, or you kind of like the thinking, the kind of intellectual side of it, really almost whatever you want to do, there is some niche in marketing that would work well with that. And it's a lot about people, working with people, communications. I think it's absolutely fascinating. So I think if somebody was considering marketing, I think they should just ask around all sorts of people who are doing all sorts of different jobs, and they'll get a good sense of what marketing is and what might be available to them.
Yeah, it is very wide.
Yeah, it
which
is very
the wonderful
wide
thing. Yeah.
And I think so I've always I kind of started life off as a generalist marketer, and that's what I like. I've never particularly wanted to go down a particular specialist route, like website development or PR, or just focusing on marketing communications. What I really love is that kind of thinking and planning, and the kind of intellectual stimulus, and the linking marketing to business, and just being that generalist, kind of overseeing the stuff that's going on. So I think my first advice is find out more about what opportunities there are, and how those different paths might really fire somebody up and say, yeah, that really sits well with me, and what I feel I could do, what would motivate me.
Yeah, that's great advice. I get a fair number of requests for work experience. I do as many of those as I can. I'll take people, or I help them find somewhere else to go where they can find out different sides of an industry, because there is a place for everyone. Well, thank you, Rachel, for spending a little time with me.
That's my absolute pleasure.
And I will share your contact details, so that anyone listening can get in touch with you.
Yeah, I do. I'm really happy to link in with anyone, and that would be great. So really happy to do that.
Thank you.